I wanted one of these for myself, but at least I got the chance to work on one. I genuinely enjoyed working on this car. It was an awesome experience. Welcome to Detail Garage 54. I'm Vlad, and we are doing a subscriber's car in this one. We'll be giving it a new lease on life. We take the cars into our studio and make them nice and clean, and we do all of the work absolutely free of charge. And this car we actually stumbled upon by accident. We noticed it like maybe half a year ago. A colleague of ours drove past it and said to us that we just have to take this one in. Get this, it's a BMW 7 Series of the E32 generation, which is gangster and the stuff of many young dudes' dreams. So we went looking for the owner and were somewhat successful in finding him. We came to an agreement. We were told the car spent 5 years parked next to a fence out on the street, which makes it all the more interesting for us. Okay, let's go pick up that bad boy and bring it back to the facility. There it is, the lovely car that we've come to pick up. I actually wanted to buy one of these. An E32 BMW 7 Series. Okay, hopefully we don't get in anybody's way. I guess we're gonna have to dig it out and then extract it. We're probably gonna transport it on a flatbed, because, I mean, it has been sitting here for quite a while. Now it's time to give the owner a call to tell him we've made it, and he'll tell us everything about the car. I'm Vlad. Ivan. Pleased to meet you. Is the car unlocked? We can open it. Oh, you can open it? You got the keys with you? Some cheap aftermarket pedals. Oh yeah, the pedals are just some icons, a sticker. Don't sweat it. Obviously, that'll have to go. I do have to say that the car looks pretty good. It's quite nice, if I'm being honest. Okay, so how long has it been sitting? Would you mind sharing this car's story with me? I want to know everything about it. Okay, I'm gonna take it from the top then. I'm actually into Japanese cars. I've had 4 Japanese cars, and some of them were oddballs. My first car was a Camry, front-wheel drive, practical and so on. Then I got myself an all-wheel drive Vista with Land Cruiser differential lockers. It was a gas guzzler and I quickly got tired of it. Then I bought a Honda Prelude, which is a cool little 2-door. But then I got bored with it after a little while. And given that most of my friends drive Mark IIs, I decided to get myself a Chaser. I got bored with it as well, and so then I decided to go against the grain and purchase a BMW E34. But then I didn't really enjoy it much. Though I did some spirited driving and it looked good, but my example was tired. And that brings me to how I acquired this one. This car has been sitting outside for 5 years. It spent 3 years inside the complex. Then they brought it out here for reasons related to the fence and what have you. And given that I live nearby, for 2 years I was walking by and seeing this car, but it was never up for sale. I don't know, maybe they intended to restore it, but I could never get in touch with somebody who I could potentially buy it from. I was in and out of many cars, and this one was just sitting. And so one day I was preparing for a trip to Kirinsk, and it's a long way from here, it's in Irkutsk Oblast. I get a call from my dad, and he tells me to ask around if anybody wants to buy this car. Immediately my brain was at redline. I had my own car, and this one was up for sale, and I really wanted it. I was like, give me one day to think it over, and I'll call you back. And the following day, I put my car up for sale. I think you see where this is going. So I get back to Novosibirsk, sell my old car, contact the owner, bring him some cash. He gives me the keys and tells me to do whatever I want. So I came over, got into the car, started it. So it starts. Indeed it does. Really? Well, then the only thing keeping it from driving is the diff. Yeah, it's got a bad seal. That's why it was abandoned in the first place. The owner came to visit his buddy. The diff lost all of its oil because of that seal, and the car was parked. The guy had 2 other cars aside from this one, and he was like, I don't need this one anymore, might as well put my money into the other 2. But he'd been holding on to it since 2004, so he's owned the car for a long time. Wow, what an interesting story. And what's really curious is that I wanted to reach out to you guys when I acquired the car. I knew you guys enjoyed these types of stories. But then somebody told me that you'd left your card. And I was like, wow, what a coincidence. Yep, and here's the guy who started all of this. We'll take it from here. Vlad, the camera guy, who you know very well, he's the guy who shoots and edits these. And since he lives here, he drives through here often. And he couldn't help but notice this BMW. And given the car is parked, and this is an iconic vehicle in its own right, which many people respect, from the outside it looked all right, so we thought, why not find the owner and ask about it? He reached out, and the response we got was to the effect of, chill out, wait for a bit, and then we'll think of something. And then you came into the equation. And now here we are standing next to this fine example. Yeah, it is an interesting one. As for the spec, well, it's an E32 BMW 7 Series, and the engine is an M30 B35. 3.5 liters, 211 horsepower. Got a 4-speed automatic transmission, and not much in the way of extras, but hey. Okay, so we had a look at the car. Now we have a basic understanding. But before we can take it away, we're gonna have to dig it out of here. Let's go grab some shovels. I've come prepared. And if you don't mind, in fact, I insist that you help me out with this. Don't worry, I've got my own. Oh, you do? Great. Okay, let's go ahead and dig this out then. I suggest we put some air into the tires, if we can. After that, we can proceed to sweep the snow off the car, because I don't want to dig them out again. God damn. What would you feel if you were to find yourself standing next to this car? This BMW E32. It was a legend of its time. Featured in movies, it's an enormous battleship. I mean, it's a super comfortable cruiser and it's even got a fairly decent amount of power. It's got a 3.5-liter engine with a bit over 200 horsepower. Somewhere around that mark, I forget the exact amount. That being said, this is a very nice vehicle, and I haven't bought it, despite it having sat for 5 years. It's still in pretty good shape. Yes, the car is going to require some attention, as well as a service, but everything works. It could have actually even made it here under its own power, if not for the stuck thermostat, which results in the car overheating. He doesn't have a new one, but I literally have goosebumps right now. I mean, this car is from a time when they made cars to last, and this one certainly will. I mean, yes, the vast majority of these are, sort of begging for mercy and beyond saving, given that maintaining and servicing these sorts of cars is quite an expensive affair. This car spent a long time parked outside. I think it was next to a birch tree or a poplar. I can't seem to remember. I think it was birch. And so the entire car is covered in a sort of fine residue that we'll definitely have to remove. A quality two-phase wash and chemical treatment are in order. That is certainly a must. We'll also apply protective coating. We'll figure out which sort later down the line. Plus, the engine bay requires a bit of detailing work. I mean, the car absolutely deserves it. We also gotta tidy the interior, clean, vacuum it, wipe it down, and just make it look nice. Because after all, from the looks of it, the interior is in pretty nice condition, as is the rest of the car. I feel like working on this one is gonna be a very pleasant experience. So during the 5 years this car was sitting outside, it definitely felt the wrath of the elements. Each and every seam and cavity has accumulated filth, dirt, leaves, and everything you can imagine. After doing a walk around, we commence cleaning the engine bay. This is where we need to be careful, because old plastic becomes brittle, and so we won't be removing anything to avoid breaking stuff. Blowing out any dust and sand, treating the connectors with dielectric spray, and applying a compound for removing oil stains. Wait for the chemical reaction to occur and wash it off. Cleaning out every seam and cavity, and then I'll give it all a rinse. Now we see the engine bay after cleaning, compared to how it was before, and the results are pretty staggering. This is so nice to look at. Now it's time for a dual-phase exterior wash. I'll apply first phase to the door jambs and then to the rest of the bodywork. It's crucial to get the dirt out of the tight spots, and those are incredibly filthy. I'll work the tight spots with a brush and second phase prior to switching to a macroporous sponge. Then the entire shell will be rubbed with a sponge. Plenty of bitumen has accumulated on these panels over the years. Also brake dust, and there's just a lot of residual filth. Some chemical treatment is in order. I'm using a special bitumen removal compound. It requires me strictly following instructions. For removing brake dust, which is also referred to as metal dust, I've got a compound called iron. This sort of dust is very harmful to a car's paint. See that residue on the glass? Mother Nature has left her mark. It's not going to be easy to remove. I'm going to mask any sensitive areas and remove that with a polishing machine. Also, I'll be preparing the glass for protective coating. The bodywork will be subject to a similar procedure. It needs a bit of refreshing, so I'll be giving it a light polish. There is no other way to make the panels shiny once again. Once I'm done with that, it'll be protective coating. Now, unfortunately, we can't do a comprehensive job with the interior. The headliner is off limits, as the styrofoam lining is dry, and any sort of compounds or friction will result in the headliner sagging. Cleaning all of the interior plastic bits, and I'll examine all of the storage pockets, seams, and so on. The seats have held up well, they look fairly tidy. We weren't able to remove them, so the only thing left to do is to thoroughly vacuum them. After cleaning the cabin, I'm rubbing down the plastic trim, the glass, and enjoying looking at a clean interior. Check out how horrible the chrome is looking. It's all dull and covered in residue. It is a small detail, but it is very important if we want the car to look nice. And it's time to apply protective coating that'll act as a dirt and water repellent. Not to mention it'll make the car look nice and shiny. Degrease the panels and apply some hard wax. I'm putting some anti-rain onto the glass to ensure the water drips down so fast that the wipers won't even be needed. Also, it just has general protective properties. You remember what the car used to look like? Let's just all appreciate its current awesomeness. Now, I genuinely enjoyed working on this car. It was quite a pleasant process. Man, the front-end styling is just hypnotizing. This particular example has been transformed. It used to be sitting under a fence, neglected for a good 5 years. And now it just looks lovely. Now, mind you, this still requires some work, like it needs a new set of wipers and a service, a new set of tires and so on, but nothing major. But our work here is done. Now, I didn't do anything with the headliner because, again, this is an older BMW. The styrofoam lining is completely dry, and so working on it will result in the headliner sagging. That'd be a huge mistake. The entire thing would have to be reupholstered. That wasn't an acceptable outcome for us, so we decided not to touch it, period. The seats also caused a bit of trouble. We couldn't undo the seat belts. Neither bolt on either side. It is a bit unfortunate, but it is what it is. But overall, we have transformed this vehicle. Ivan will be here any minute now, and I am quite confident that he'll be very surprised. We might even have to call an ambulance. I am expecting his heart rate and blood pressure to skyrocket when he sees this. Okay, now we just wait. Ivan, long time no see. Well, not really, but hello. Do you have any idea as to how the car has changed? I'd imagine it's cleaner. Are you sure about that? I hope so. That deep sigh. Keeping his hopes up. I mean, it wasn't that filthy after it sat for 5 years. Who told you that? Anyway, no use leaving you hanging. Let's go have a look at your baby. Take a look at what it has become. Oh man, I got goosebumps. It's your car, but I'm the one with goosebumps.
Wow.
Can I come up to it? Oh, you'd better. feel free to touch it. So we've applied some hard wax to it. Prior to that, we gave it a polish. The glass we treated with anti-rain, and you might not want to touch that. Otherwise, knock yourself out. It's actually got a different color. I thought it was plain blue. Nope. Maybe there's something else you might notice? A Garage 54 sticker? No, that's just a tiny bonus. Other than that, the chrome is shiny. Look at that shiny exhaust tip. I mean, obviously, the chrome is going to stick out. What did you expect? Can I open it? By all means. Oh, wow. Factory fresh. Except we didn't touch the headliner. Being a BMW, it might have begun to sag. The styrofoam is dry. Yeah, you might want to leave that alone. So sorry about that. So clean. And that's why I asked you, are you sure that it wasn't all that dirty after 5 years? But now? Should have wiped my shoes. Don't worry, dude. It's clean inside our studio. Nice. What does it smell like? A BMW. Oh, you've installed the head unit. Yeah, to get the right vibe going. I want to look at the engine bay. Oh, that's the best part, man. Man, I just love how the hood pops open on a BMW. Here goes nothing. Oh my god. I've never seen it in this sort of shape. It's all shiny. Like in Fast and Furious, like black hoses? Is it a sports car? And it's all shiny. Obviously, I'll be removing and painting this. If I decide to keep this engine, I'm getting goosebumps again. And I'm feeling dizzy. FYI, there was a horrendous amount of oil in this vicinity. Yeah, I remember all of this being covered in oil. And there was oil under there, on the frame rail and everything. But then that did help preserve everything. But there was literally oil everywhere. I guess I shouldn't go to that side then? No, everything's fine, I'm just kidding. Well, at least there was oil somewhere in this BMW. The engine bay looks the business. You know, I really like this design feature on BMWs of old. It just looks so cool. Yeah, it's not Granny's blanket. So do you realize, Ivan, and I don't want this to rub you the wrong way, but your bum-spec BMW has been transformed into something lovely. It is just such a peach, I mean, what a sweet car it is now. Oh, that's for sure. And I'm getting goosebumps again. I enjoyed working on it, and I actually wanted one of these. And the results are just fantastic. Granted, some things we weren't able to do, but whatever. Anyway, so my question for you now would be, what do you have to say? Big thanks for getting the car to where it is. It must have been hard after it sat for so long. Thanks a lot. And thank you for allowing me to sort of fulfill a dream of mine. Because, real talk, I wanted to get myself one of these. I mean, I'm not the owner, but I was able to experience it in some capacity. Get a feel for it. This is actually my first close encounter with one. I think for many this is a dream car. Yep. And so now I'll hand you the keys to this dream. Enjoy it. Good luck restoring it. You'll probably invest the cost of 3 more of these before you can enjoy it, though. That's an understatement. Yeah. And those are the results for you. He's been a lovely guest. He's provided a lovely car for us to work on. And this was a pretty cool episode. The results are just awesome. The before and after on this was pretty freaking spectacular. Okay, big thanks for watching this video. Subscribe, give this video a like, comment, and don't forget about the bell to stay in the loop for when we drop new videos. See you guys!